This in-dealership training film covers important new product highlights found on 1985 AMC, Jeep, and Renault vehicles. Over the next several minutes, we'll take a look at the new 2.1-liter four-cylinder turbocharged diesel engine for Cherokee and Wagoneer, Select Track and Select Drive for Jeep and Eagle with a new shift-on-the-fly capability, the Alliance Convertible and Top operation, the new, more powerful 1.7-liter four-cylinder engine and throttle body fuel injection system for Alliance and Encore, and the new Feugo trip. Contained in this film kit is a handy reference booklet that provides additional details of the highlights covered in the film. Keep in mind that this film will deal only with highlights of the various components. For overhaul procedures and other helpful servicing information, you should refer to your repair manuals, component manuals, and IS notes. Let's begin with the 2.1-liter turbocharged diesel engine used in Cherokee and Wagoneer. A diesel engine is different from a gasoline engine in that it has no electrical ignition system. Instead, only air is drawn into the engine cylinder during the intake cycle. The heat of the compressed air during the compression cycle is then used to spontaneously ignite the fuel. The 2.1-liter turbo diesel engine, for example, has a compression ratio of 21.5 to 1, as compared to the 2.46-liter gasoline engine, which has a compression ratio of 9.2 to 1. Because of this high compression, a diesel engine must have stronger components than a gasoline engine, particularly the cylinder head, pistons, and rings. The diesel fuel is injected into the cylinders through fuel injectors near the end of the compression cycle. The fuel is ignited by the heated air, and the piston is driven downward by the expanding gases. When the piston moves upward, it drives the exhaust gases out through the exhaust valves. Another significant difference between a diesel engine and a gasoline engine is in the type of fuel that is burned. Diesel fuel produces more energy per gallon than gasoline. It's also less flammable and therefore safer than gasoline. The diesel engine uses glow plugs to preheat the air in the cylinders to aid startup. These glow plugs are low-voltage heating elements inserted into the combustion chamber. They are controlled by the ignition switch. A glow plug duration unit located on the left inner fender panel contains an ambient air sensor, which is used to control the duration of the glow plug operation. Two power relays located near the duration unit control current flow to the plugs. With the ignition in the on position, the diesel wait light on the instrument panel alerts the driver that preheating is taking place. Starting the engine should not be attempted until the light goes out. The new 2.1-liter turbocharged diesel engine has an aluminum cylinder head with inserted valve seats and guides. The block is also of aluminum, with cast iron cylinder liners and main bearing caps. The valves are operated by an overhead camshaft with mechanical lifters. The cam is driven by a toothed timing belt. Because of the close tolerance between the cylinder head and the pistons, the 2.1-liter turbocharged diesel engine has a head gasket that can be one of three distinct thicknesses: 1.6, 1.7, or 1.8 millimeters. To identify the head gasket used, you should refer to the number of holes on the outside perimeter of the gasket. One hole indicates 1.7 millimeters thick, two holes indicate 1.6 millimeters, and three holes indicate 1.8 millimeters. Before you replace the head gasket, you should first determine the piston protrusion by following the procedures outlined in your repair manual. Then, select the proper head gasket. This engine includes an exhaust-driven Garrett T2 turbocharger with a wastegate control valve and air-to-air intercooler. The turbocharger is not repairable and must be replaced as a unit. The wastegate is used to bleed off excessive boost pressure as a means to prevent damage to the engine. The wastegate control valve is not adjustable, and if not operating properly, the turbocharger must be replaced. The intercooler is simply a radiator-type device located between the turbocharger and the intake manifold that cools the hot compressed air from the turbocharger. The intercooler reduces the compressed air temperature, thus improving the filling of the cylinders. The fuel system for the diesel engine consists of a fuel tank, a supply line, an integrated filter and heater, a fuel injection pump, high-pressure injection lines, injectors, and a return line. Primary and secondary filters trap particles as small as 1/10 of a human hair. A special water separator is included with the integrated filter and heater to help protect the engine from water contamination. This separator includes a sensor that activates a signal light on the instrument panel in the event of a water buildup in the filter. A water drain is located at the bottom of the housing. The fuel line heater helps to protect against fuel waxing during cold temperature operations. The Bosch fuel injection pump consists of a single piston, rotary pump with automatic advance, automatic cold start, and a fast idling system. It delivers precise amounts of fuel to the combustion chambers through the injectors. A solenoid shutoff built into the pump is used to stop the flow of fuel to stop the engine. Remember, with this engine, there is no electrical ignition system. You stop the engine by stopping the flow of fuel. The 2.1-liter turbo diesel lubrication and cooling systems are in many ways similar to those found on gasoline engines. Their functions are of even greater importance due to the high temperatures created by the mating of a turbocharger to a diesel engine. To counteract these high temperatures, a special system is used whereby the pistons are oil-cooled by special nozzles. The nozzles are attached to the block adjacent to the oil pan and provide piston cooling at engine speeds above idle. They are fed by a high-capacity oil pump with a special release valve. Engine oil capacity is 6.3 quarts, including filter. There are 2 oil drain plugs located on the divided oil pan and a remote oil filter located on the right inner fender. Both plugs must be removed to change the engine oil. It is important to always use the appropriate API oil rating, which appears in the workshop manual or the booklet included in this film kit. The cooling system, unlike the conventional expansion bottle type, utilizes a special full-flow continuous system, which eliminates trapped air. It is important that you use AMC Jeep Renault all-season coolant that contains special additives that help to eliminate corrosion in liners and other engine components. To monitor engine performance, there are 5 important gauges and indicator lights located on the instrument panel. The turbo boost gauge indicates the amount of boost pressure, and under engine load will normally read between 5 and 10 pounds per square inch. In addition to a regular oil pressure gauge, the turbo diesel engine has an oil filter light that indicates a clogged oil filter. The diesel temperature light indicates that the coolant temperature is above the acceptable limit. The diesel weight light indicates that combustion chamber preheating is taking place. And the water in fuel light indicates that water has collected in the fuel filter due to the action of the separator, and the fuel filter should be drained. Keep in mind that if you do have a problem with the operation of the engine, you'll need a number of special tools and special equipment that should be on hand at your dealership. These items will save you valuable time and help to ensure that the job is done right. Now, let's take a look at the new Jeep Select Track and Eagle Select Drive shift-on-the-fly capability. Up till now, both systems required the driver to bring the vehicle to a stop before attempting to shift between two-wheel and four-wheel drive. The new systems enable the driver to complete the shift at any legal speed, simply by sliding the selector switch to the desired mode. To provide this capability, the two systems have been modified to eliminate the front axle two-wheel drive disconnect feature. Hence, both axle shafts remain engaged at all times. The shift between two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive is accomplished entirely by way of the transfer case. Due to this fact, the vacuum harness has been modified to eliminate the vacuum signal to the front axle vacuum shift motor. Also new for 1985 on Cherokee, Wagoneer, and Eagle is the keyless entry system. This popular option includes a pocket-sized, solid-state battery-operated transmitter, which is also a key ring that, when depressed, sends infrared light waves to a sensor mounted above the windshield to automatically lock or unlock the doors. Cherokee and Wagoneer will also offer System Sentry, another popular option. System Sentry is an instrument panel mounted console that uses sensors to monitor all vital fluid levels as well as front disc brake lining wear. The system automatically performs these checks when the ignition is turned off. In addition, it includes a self-diagnosis feature that informs the driver of any malfunction. Also new for 1985 is a sporty Alliance Convertible, available in both L and DL models. They have the same equipment levels as the Alliance L and DL sedans, but comes standard with the new, more powerful 1.7-liter four-cylinder engine. The convertible is available in the two-door model only. The inner body is strengthened by way of reinforcements to body structures. The top is operated by a rocker switch on the instrument panel. Two latches at each corner of the windshield header lock the top down. Operation is accomplished through a low-pressure hydraulic system that includes a 12-volt reversible motor, two double-acting cylinders, and an upper and lower hose assembly. A top-up and top-down relay control the direction of the motor, thus raising or lowering the top. To raise the top, the motor and pump push the fluid through the lower hoses to the bottom of the cylinder to force the piston rods up. To lower the top, the fluid is fed to the top of the cylinders to force the piston rods down. In the event of a system failure, the top can be raised or lowered manually by means of a bypass valve that's accessible through the trunk. Turn the valve all the way counterclockwise to open up the hydraulic system, permitting manual operation of the top. If the top fails to operate properly, check first for misaligned linkage or a damaged cylinder. Adjust linkage as necessary. Then, check for electric and hydraulic problems. An electrical system problem can be caused by low battery voltage, breaks in the wiring, defective electrical components, or shorts in the wiring or components. Hydraulic problems can be caused by obstructions or kinks in the hydraulic hoses, faulty operation of a cylinder or the pump, or lack of fluid. It is important to note that automatic transmission fluid is used in the hydraulic system, and you must bleed the system whenever you add fluid. To fill and bleed the system, you must first remove the trunk compartment partition. Then, place absorbent rags below the reservoir at the filler plug. Next, remove the filler plug from the reservoir and check the fluid level. When full, the fluid should be even with the fill hole. To add fluid, you begin by fabricating a filler plug adapter. Cut the end off a filler plug and slide the plug over a piece of metal tubing. Install the adapter to the reservoir and attach a 4 to 5 foot length of 5/32 inch ID rubber hose to the filler plug tubing. Next, install the opposite end of the hose into a container of automatic transmission fluid. Make sure that the clear container is below the level of the reservoir and that it contains enough fluid to avoid drawing air into the system. Operate the top to the down position. After the top is fully lowered, continue to operate the motor and pump assembly about 15 to 20 seconds, or until the noise level of the pump is noticeably reduced. A reduced noise level in the pump indicates that the hydraulic system is filled with fluid. Operate the top up and down several times until the operation of the top is consistently smooth in both directions and no further air bubbles are present in the container of fluid. With the top in the down position, remove the filler plug tubing and remove the filler plug adapter from the reservoir. The engine on the Alliance Convertible is the new 1.7-liter, four-cylinder Renix throttle body fuel-injected engine that features an overhead cam design, aluminum head, and cast iron block. Significant is the fact that this engine has no cylinder liners or replaceable sleeves. There are also no combustion chambers in the cylinder head. Rather, the combustion chambers are in the pistons themselves. The overhead cam design operates the valves directly through the tappets rather than through a rocker arm assembly. The 1.7-liter engine features highly efficient lubrication and cooling systems. The cooling and lubrication systems are comparable to those used on the 2.2-liter and 1.4-liter engines, utilizing a high-capacity oil pump and an intermediate drive shaft. The cooling system utilizes a hermetically sealed system which keeps air out of the coolant. The full-flow system ensures better heat transfer and engine protection. There is a bleed screw located at the top of the radiator that allows air to escape during the filling procedure. This procedure is detailed in the workshop manual. An important servicing note deals with the removal of the engine cylinder head. The head is located by two dowels. You can remove the head by lifting it directly from the block rather than by pivoting it. Another thing to keep in mind is the fact that the pistons supplied with the cylinder block must be matched with their respective bores. The position of the holes on the boss on the engine block determine which piston is to be used in each cylinder. The position numbers are determined by their distance from the top of the engine block. The number or letter stamped on the piston indicates the cylinder in which the piston is to be placed. Refer to the workshop manual or the booklet for more details. These special tools are required for servicing the 1.7-liter engine. Make sure they're on hand to save you time and do the job right. The 1.7-liter engine has a Renault single-point throttle body fuel injection system that's similar to the Bendix system used on the 1.4-liter engine. Like the Bendix system, the Renault system injects fuel into the throttle body above the throttle plate. The injector is controlled by an electronic control unit, ECU, which receives a number of input signals from the various system sensors. Based on these inputs, the electronic control unit automatically controls 8 output components, which help to maintain the proper air-fuel ratio and ignition timing as required under various operating conditions. Unique to this system is that the ECU completely controls the ignition system. The knock sensor that is mounted on the cylinder head provides a signal to the ECU, which indicates whether there is detonation present during engine operation. Using this signal, the ECU can then vary the spark advance to eliminate the knock. And to assist you in diagnosing the 1.7-liter throttle body fuel injection system, your MS-1700 electronic diagnostic tester is being modified to accept this handy plug-in cartridge. Now, let's discuss the new trip computer that's now available on the non-turbo Renault Feugo. This electronic wizard computes and reports on 7 areas of information at the touch of a button. They include current time, outside air temperature, the number of gallons of fuel remaining in the tank, the range or number of miles which can be driven based on the remaining fuel and the average miles per gallon, the average miles per gallon, the average speed of the vehicle, and the total distance driven. The controls for the system are mounted on the face of the unit. They include a rocker switch for selecting information, hour and minute reset keys, and a reset key to return the system to 0. 4 sensors feed information to a microchip which is housed in the unit. These sensors include a fuel flow meter located under the dash, a speed sensor attached to the speedometer cable, a thermistor located by the left front wheel well, and a fuel gauge sensor in the fuel tank. If the flow meter, thermistor, or fuel gauge signal should become defective, the output information will flash. The flashing mode indicates the malfunctioning sensor. Refer to the workshop manual for more information. Finally, let's briefly review some of the other new product highlights that you'll be seeing in your dealership. There are new fold and tumble rear seats on the CJ7, plus exterior treatment for Renegade and Laredo. There's a new top-of-the-line Cherokee Laredo, and the Grand Wagoneer has a new standard soft ride suspension system that utilizes special front and rear springs, gas-filled shocks, and special suspension bushings. We already covered the new Select Drive, Shift on the Fly, and the keyless entry system for Eagle. Also new for Alliance and Encore is an improved heating, ventilation, and air conditioning reheat system. This system provides an evaporator for cooling and dehumidification of incoming outside air prior to blending with the heated air. The 1.4-liter engine has an improved full-flow cooling system, which ensures better heat transfer and engine protection. Encore has a new handling package that includes a larger diameter front and rear sway bar, gas-filled shock absorbers, and struts. And both the automatic and manual transmissions, when used with 1.7-liter engines, have been upgraded for improved operation and durability. The 85 Feugo includes larger 14-inch aluminum wheels, a color-keyed cargo area cover, and a new beige body color. The Sport Wagon includes an improved suspension system for a smoother ride, a new Aurora metallic paint, and new 14-inch steel wheels with steel-belted radial tires. All this in addition to the already dependable 2.2-liter engine introduced earlier this year. There you have it, a new turbo diesel engine, a new Select Track and Select Drive shift-on-the-fly system, a new Alliance Convertible, a new 1.7-liter four-cylinder engine with a Renix throttle body fuel injection system, a new Feugo trip computer, and a host of other new features and options to highlight the 1985 AMC, Jeep, and Renault models. Many of these items will be covered in detail in technical training courses and in-dealership training programs that have already been released. Check with your zone parts and service representative for details. Finally, you should refer to the manuals, IS notes, and other technical reference materials. They'll provide you with valuable diagnostic and information necessary to the servicing of these and other new components.